The night was quiet on the alien world of Velara, a planet where only females lived. The silver sky glowed faintly with 2 moons, and the air carried a soft, strange hum. In this world, no one had ever seen a male. Stories of such beings were told only in whispers, painted as monsters or myths. The young alien girls of the village grew up with fear and curiosity both, but none truly believed such a creature existed. That night, a thunder-like roar split the calm sky. The ground shook. Fire trailed across the heavens as something fell from above. The alien girls ran from their huts, their bright eyes wide in shock. Something had crashed near the forest, flames lighting the trees in a golden glow. A small group of girls, daring and curious, decided to go closer. Among them was Lyra, bold but reckless, always the first to explore forbidden things. With her walked Sira, quiet yet sharp-eyed, and 3 younger girls who followed out of excitement. They whispered nervously, wondering if it was a star, a spirit, or some punishment from their goddess. When they reached the crash site, their voices stopped. Before them lay a strange metallic object, broken and burning in places. They had never seen such a thing before. Smoke hissed from its sides, and sparks glowed like fireflies in the dark. And there, lying beside the wreckage, was a figure unlike anything they had ever known, a body covered in strange fabric, chest rising and falling faintly as if it was alive. His hair was dark and short, his face pale under streaks of soot. The alien girls gasped. "What is it?" whispered one of the younger girls. "It breathes," Lyra answered, kneeling closer. Her heart raced. "It is alive." They touched the strange armor-like cloth he wore. It was torn at the shoulder, revealing skin beneath, skin unlike theirs. It was rougher, firmer. They had never seen such texture. They pulled back quickly, shocked. Could this be a male? Sira's voice trembled as she said the word, one they had only heard in stories told by elders. The younger girls backed away, fear in their eyes. Myths said males were dangerous, tricksters who destroyed hearts and homes. Yet here he lay, helpless, his lips dry and his breathing shallow. Lyra felt torn. "He does not look dangerous," she whispered. "He looks broken." Her hands shook as she touched his chest again. She could feel his heart beating beneath the cloth. Faster, weaker, like a trapped bird. Suddenly the soldier stirred. His eyes fluttered open, deep human eyes reflecting the glow of fire. The alien girls gasped again and stepped back, but Lyra froze where she was, unable to move. He looked at them in confusion, lips parting as he tried to speak. Water. The word was faint, broken, but they understood. His voice was deep, different from their kind. The girls looked at one another, unsure what to do. Helping him was forbidden. Elders had warned them never to touch strange beings from the sky. But curiosity and pity burned stronger than fear in Lyra's chest. She pulled a small flask from her belt and tilted it toward his lips. The soldier drank weakly, his eyes closing again. "He spoke," whispered Sira, her voice filled with awe. "He asked for water like one of us." Lyra's mind spun with questions. Who was he? Why was he here? Could the stories be true? Suddenly, a sharp sound came from the wreckage. Metal cracked, flames roared, and part of the broken craft collapsed. The soldier flinched, trying to move, but his body was too weak. Without thinking, Lyra grabbed his arm and pulled him away. Her strength surprised her. He was heavy, solid, unlike any being she had ever touched. The younger girls screamed. "Lyra, stop! The elders will punish us! He is cursed!" But Lyra ignored them. She only knew one thing. If they left him here, he would die. And she could not let that happen. As they dragged him toward the shadows of the forest, the soldier groaned softly, his hand brushing against Lyra's arm. She froze for a moment, shivering at the strange touch before continuing. In the distance, voices echoed. Other villagers were coming, drawn by the crash. The girls exchanged quick, panicked glances. "They must not see him," Sira whispered. "If the elders know, they will kill him." Lyra's jaw tightened. She looked down at the human soldier, his chest rising weakly, his face pale under the moonlight. She did not know why, but something inside her heart told her he did not belong to the stories of monsters. He was different. He was real, and now he was hers to protect. The girls hurried into the deeper forest, carrying the soldier with them, while behind them the wreckage burned brighter. Sparks lit the night sky like falling stars. None of them knew that this was the beginning of something their world had never seen before, something forbidden, dangerous, but impossible to resist. The forest was silent except for the rustle of leaves as Lyra and the girls pulled the strange soldier deeper into the shadows. His boots dragged across the soft ground, leaving long marks in the soil. Every few steps he groaned faintly, his body heavy and warm against Lyra's arms. Sira kept glancing back nervously. "Lyra, this is madness," she whispered. "If the elders catch us, they will exile us. We are hiding a creature no one is allowed to see." "He is not a creature," Lyra said firmly. "He is something else. Something we never knew was real." The younger girls whispered among themselves, torn between fear and curiosity. Their glowing eyes darted to the soldier's face, to his strange jawline, the sharpness of his features, the rough hair on his skin. He was nothing like them, yet strangely fascinating. They reached an abandoned hut near the edge of the old ruins, a place the elders had forbidden them to visit. That made it perfect. No one would dare come looking here. Together they laid the soldier down on the dusty floor. His chest rose and fell unevenly, sweat gleaming on his brow. For a long moment none of them spoke. They only stared. Lyra crouched near him. She had never seen anyone like this. His body was covered in fabric torn by fire and smoke. Strange belts and straps clung to him, carrying small metal objects she did not recognize. She reached out, touching one of the straps, and felt how strong it was. "What do you think he is?" one of the younger girls asked. Sira hesitated. "If the old stories are true, then he is a male, a living male." The word itself felt heavy in the air. The younger girls gasped. One backed away, whispering, "But males are monsters. They lie, they trick, they destroy. That's what the elders said." Lyra shook her head slowly. "Look at him. Does he look like a monster? He is weak. He needs help." The soldier stirred again, his lips moving, his eyes opened slightly, unfocused but burning with strange light. He muttered something in a voice they could not understand. The sound of it made the girls freeze. His voice was low, strong, filled with weight unlike theirs. "What did he say?" whispered one of the girls. Lyra leaned closer. The soldier's hand twitched, brushing against the floor. His eyes met hers briefly before closing again. She swallowed hard. She did not know the meaning of his words, but something about them felt human, familiar in a way she could not explain. "We need to see what is beneath these strange cloths," Lyra said suddenly. The girls gasped. "You cannot. How else will we understand what he is?" she argued. Her fingers trembled as she reached for the edge of his torn uniform. The fabric was heavy, rough, unlike anything woven in their world. Slowly she pulled at it, the sound of tearing echoing softly in the hut. The younger girls pressed closer, their eyes wide with excitement and fear. Piece by piece, they uncovered more of him. His skin was paler than theirs, scarred in places, firm to the touch. Muscles shifted faintly as he breathed. They touched him carefully, as if afraid he would wake and bite. But he remained still, lost in half-conscious dreams. "He is built strong," Sira whispered, her voice filled with awe, "like a warrior." "But why was he sent here?" one of the younger girls asked. "What if he was meant to destroy us?" Lyra looked at the soldier's face, the lines of pain still etched into it. No, he was not here to destroy. He had crashed. He was lost. Suddenly the soldier coughed, his body jerking. His hand shot up weakly, gripping Lyra's wrist. The strength in that touch made her freeze. His eyes opened wide for a moment, staring into hers with desperation. "Help," he rasped. The alien girl shrieked softly, stepping back. But Lyra did not pull away. She stared into his eyes, her heart pounding. She could feel his fear, his need. She whispered softly, "We will help you. You are safe." Whether he understood or not, his grip loosened, and he fell back into a shallow sleep. The hut fell silent again, only the sound of his ragged breathing filling the air. The younger girls began whispering, arguing. "We should tell the elders." "No, they will kill him." "But what if he is dangerous?" "He is different. He is ours to protect." Lyra stood up, her voice steady. "No one must know, not yet. We will keep him here. We will learn what he is, and we will decide if he is friend or foe." Sira bit her lip. "And if he wakes? If he grows violent?" Lyra glanced at the soldier again. His face looked softer in the glow of the twin moons. She felt an ache in her chest she could not explain. "Then we will face it," she said quietly. "But I do not think he is our enemy." The girls looked at one another, uncertain, but slowly they nodded. Curiosity was stronger than fear now. That night, as the fireflies drifted outside the hut and the moons cast their cold light, The alien girls sat around the strange soldier, watching, waiting, wondering what secret they had just pulled from the stars. None of them knew that their choice, to rip away his strange armor, to touch the truth beneath, would change not only their lives but the fate of their world. The morning light filtered through the cracks of the old hut, painting thin golden lines across the dusty floor. The soldier stirred at last, his breathing deeper, his fingers twitching against the rough wood. The alien girls, who had kept watch all night, leaned closer in silence. Lyra's heart pounded. She had not slept. She had stayed near him, studying every detail of his strange face, every rise and fall of his chest. Now at last his eyes opened again, clearer this time, though filled with pain and confusion. The soldier blinked, his gaze darting around the hut, then landing on the cluster of alien girls. His body jerked upright in alarm. His breath quickened as he pressed back against the wall. The girls screamed softly and drew back. Sira raised her hands defensively. "Stay away from him." But Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm. "Do not fear. You are safe here." The soldier's eyes narrowed. He did not understand her words, but he understood their tone, their closeness, their staring eyes. He reached instinctively for his side where a holster might have been, but his weapon was gone. Only the torn remains of his uniform hung loosely from him, and the curious touches of alien hands had stripped away much of his protection. "Who are you?" he rasped in his own tongue. The sound was deep, sharp, strange to their ears. The alien girls gasped again, shivering at the sound of a voice unlike theirs. Sira whispered urgently, "Lyra, this is wrong. Look at him. He is dangerous. See how he moves, like a fighter, like a predator." The soldier pushed himself unsteadily to his feet. His tall frame loomed above them, and the alien girls instinctively stepped back. His eyes scanned the hut, then the door. He was trapped, outnumbered, and he knew it. Fear twisted his expression. Survival burned in his movements. He lunged toward the door, stumbling, still weak but desperate. The girl screamed. One threw herself in his way, but he brushed her aside easily, his strength surprising despite his injuries. The hut shook as he pushed the wooden door open, sunlight blinding him. "Stop," Lyra cried, running after him. She grabbed his arm, pulling with all her strength. For a moment his wild eyes locked with hers. He froze, not because he could not break free, but because something in her gaze stopped him. Her voice softened. "You will not survive out there, please. Stay." Though he did not understand the words, her tone reached him. His chest heaved as he struggled between fight and surrender. Finally, his legs gave out and he fell to his knees, clutching his side in pain. The alien girls rushed around him, half afraid, half drawn closer. One whispered, "He tried to escape." "He will bring danger upon us all," another said, "but he is broken. Look at him, he bleeds like us." Indeed, blood seeped through his torn uniform, staining his chest. Lyra quickly tore a strip of cloth from her own tunic and pressed it to the wound. He flinched but did not push her away. The soldier's breath slowed. He stared at her with confusion, as though asking why she helped him instead of letting him die. Lyra smiled faintly, though fear trembled inside her. "Because you are not my enemy." Sira, standing nearby, shook her head. "Lyra, you are blind. You do not see. He will bring ruin upon us. The elders were right, males are cursed." Lyra ignored her. She tied the cloth tightly, her fingers steady. The soldier groaned softly, then whispered one word, weak but clear. "Home." The girls froze. Though they did not know his language, they recognized the feeling in his voice. "He longed for something lost. What did he say?" one of the younger girls asked. Lyra shook her head. "I do not know, but I felt his pain." The hut grew quiet again, tension heavy in the air. The soldier leaned back against the wall, his eyes closing, though his body remained tense, ready to fight if needed. The alien girls sat around him, whispering nervously, "What do we do with him? We cannot keep him hidden forever. If the elders find out, they will kill us all." Lyra's voice cut through their panic. "We protect him, until he is strong enough to decide his fate." Sira's eyes flashed with anger. "And if he decides we are his enemies? What then?" Lyra met her gaze without flinching. "Then we face it. But I believe he is not here to harm us." The soldier's breathing softened. Slowly, exhaustion dragged him back into uneasy sleep, but the girls did not rest. They watched him, fear and curiosity tangled inside their hearts. Every rise and fall of his chest reminded them he was real. He was dangerous. He was different, and already he was changing everything. Outside, the forest wind carried whispers toward the village. The wreckage still smoked in the distance, and sooner or later the elders would come searching. The alien girls knew the truth. They had no time. They had chosen to hide the forbidden, and now panic and fear were only beginning. The village of Velara stirred with unrest. Smoke from the fallen starship still curled above the forest, and whispers of danger spread quickly among the alien women. Elders gathered in the council hall, their eyes sharp, their voices heavy with warning. Something from the sky had come, something forbidden. Lyra and the younger girls sat hidden in the ruined hut, hearts racing. The human soldier still lay weak, though his strength was returning. His eyes opened more often now, sharp and watchful. He listened to their whispers, even if he could not understand the words, but their secret could not stay hidden forever. That morning, heavy footsteps echoed outside. The wooden door creaked open, and the alien leader entered. Her name was Era, tall and commanding, with silver hair that shimmered in the light of the twin moons. Her presence made even the bravest girls bow their heads. She had ruled the village for decades, guided by the law of the elders. Never touch the forbidden. Never trust what comes from beyond the sky. Her gaze fell instantly on the soldier. She froze. The silence grew so heavy that even the birds outside stopped singing. For a long moment she said nothing. Her golden eyes studied the man's every feature, the sharp lines of his face, the strange form of his body, the roughness of his hands. Finally she spoke, her voice low but heavy with authority. So, the stories are true. A male still walks the stars, the girls gasped. Sierra bowed her head quickly. Leader, forgive us. We only wanted to know what he was. We should not have touched him. But Lyra stood tall, though her heart shook. He was dying. I could not leave him in the fire. Era's gaze shifted to Lyra. And by saving him, you have broken the oldest law. You risked the safety of us all. The soldier stirred, confused by the tension. His eyes narrowed on the tall figure who now towered over him. He tried to rise, but his body still betrayed him. His voice broke out in English, rough but firm. I am not your enemy. The alien girls flinched at the sound of his voice again. To them, the words were foreign, but the strength behind them was clear. Era frowned, as if sensing the meaning, though she could not understand. She stepped closer. The soldier stiffened, his hand twitching as if searching for a weapon that was not there. Your kind has not walked here for centuries, Era said. We banished your memory from our lives. And yet, here you are, Lyra bit her lip. He is not a threat. He asked for water. He bleeds as we do. He saved me from the wreckage flames. He is enough! Era's voice thundered, and the hut seemed to shake. Do not let pity blind you. If the legends are true, then this being carries danger with every breath. Males bring ruin. Males corrupt. The soldier, not knowing her words, still understood the anger. His heart pounded. He tried again to stand, leaning against the wall for support. His eyes burned with defiance as he met Era's glare. I'm not here to fight, he said slowly. His tone was calm but strong. He touched his chest, then pointed upward toward the broken sky where his ship had fallen. Accident, lost. The alien girls exchanged uncertain looks. They could not understand his words, but his gestures told a story. Era remained unmoved. Perhaps you fell by chance. Or perhaps you were sent. Either way, your presence is poison. Lyra stepped forward, her voice shaking but firm. If we kill him, what makes us different from monsters? He is alone, weak, and yet still he fights to live. That is not poison, it is courage. Sierra hissed in fear. Lyra, silence. You are defying the leader. But Lyra's eyes stayed locked on Era's. For the first time, she felt the weight of something greater than fear, something like destiny. Era studied her carefully, then looked back at the soldier. The man's breathing was ragged, his body trembling from weakness, but in his eyes burned fire. He was no myth. He was real. Flesh and blood. Finally, the leader spoke again, softer but edged with danger. Very well. He will not die today, but he will not walk free either. He will be tested. His truth must be revealed before judgment is given. The girls gasped. Lyra's chest filled with relief, though the fear remained. The soldier would live, but what kind of test awaited him none of them knew. Era turned sharply to the girls. You have bound yourselves to him by saving his life. Then you will share in his fate. Guard him. Watch him. And when the test comes, your hearts will answer whether this male is salvation or destruction. With that, she left the hut, her silver hair glimmering like cold fire. The soldier sank back against the wall, breathing hard. He did not know the words spoken, but he knew one thing. His life now hung on their choices. Lyra looked at him, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "We will protect you, whatever the test may be." The soldier's tired eyes met hers. For the first time, something softened. In his face, a fragile spark of trust, born in the shadow of fear. The sun rose higher above Velara, its twin moons fading into the pale sky. The village buzzed with unease. Whispers ran through the narrow paths. The forbidden had returned, a male was alive. Some women looked toward the forest with suspicion, others with fear. Inside the old hut, the soldier slowly regained strength. His breathing was steadier, though his body still carried wounds. He sat with his back against the wall, watching the alien girls with guarded eyes. He could not understand their words, but he could read their faces, their curiosity, their fear, and their hidden compassion. Lyra remained close, tending to him. She pressed herbs into his wounds, taught by old healers, though she lacked their skill. He winced but endured, never pushing her hands away. Each time she touched him, her heart pounded strangely. She told herself it was only duty, but she knew it was more. Sira stood by the door, her arms crossed. "He should not be here," she muttered. "He brings danger. The leader will see his true nature soon enough." Lyra ignored her. "He is alive because of us. That makes him our responsibility." The soldier's gaze flicked between them, not knowing the words but sensing the conflict. He raised a hand weakly, pointing upward toward the sky. His lips formed a single word. "Home." His voice cracked, filled with longing. The younger girls leaned closer, whispering, "He wants to return. He is not here to fight." But before more could be said, a sharp cry shattered the air. From outside the hut, a child screamed. The sound was high, panicked, and filled with terror. The girls rushed to the door. Down the slope of the village, smoke rose where a cooking fire had spread. A small hut had caught flame, and a young alien child stumbled near the blaze, her dress catching sparks. She wailed, her tiny arms flailing. The women nearby screamed, some rushing to fetch water, others frozen in fear. The soldier pushed himself unsteadily to his feet. His eyes widened at the sight of fire devouring the hut. Without hesitation, he stumbled forward past the startled alien girls and into the open air. "Wait!" Lyra cried, chasing after him. But he did not wait. His legs, though weak, carried him faster than expected. He dashed straight toward the child, ripping away the burning fabric with his bare hands, shielding her with his body as the flames licked close. The smoke stung his eyes, but he pulled her free and carried her away from the blaze. The villagers gasped. Their eyes, filled with suspicion only moments ago, now widened with shock. They watched as the strange male knelt on the ground, holding the child gently, brushing ashes from her hair. His voice was low, soothing, though none understood the words. The child's crying softened. She clung to him, burying her face against his chest. Lyra reached them, her heart racing. She knelt beside the soldier, staring in disbelief. You saved her." He looked at her, sweat and soot streaking his face, but his eyes steady. "Child," he said softly, pointing to the girl. His meaning was clear enough. The villagers began to whisper among themselves. Their fear did not vanish, but doubt crept in. Could this being truly be the monster the legends warned of? Monsters did not risk their lives to save children. Era, the leader, arrived with several elders. Her golden eyes narrowed as she took in the sight. The soldier rose shakily to his feet, still holding the child. For a long, tense moment, no one spoke. Finally, Era said, "You risked your life for one of ours." The soldier, not understanding her tongue, only placed the child safely into her mother's arms. Then he stepped back, coughing from the smoke, his body trembling with exhaustion. Lyra stood quickly. "Leader, you saw it." He could have stayed hidden, but he chose to save her. "Does that look like a curse?" The elders muttered uneasily. One said, "Perhaps it is a trick." Another whispered, "Or perhaps the old stories were wrong." Era's gaze remained fixed on the soldier. His chest rose and fell heavily, but his eyes did not waver. There was no malice there, only weariness and stubborn will. At last Era spoke. "He has shown something unexpected, courage, kindness. But this does not erase the danger of his presence. The test remains." The soldier looked at her, not knowing her words, but sensing the judgment in her tone. He straightened, squaring his shoulders as if ready to face whatever came. Lyra's heart ached. She wanted to cry out, to beg the leader to see what she saw. A man lost, alone but filled with a strength that was not cruelty, but humanity. The villagers began to disperse, carrying the child to safety, their whispers following like restless winds. Inside the hut once more, the soldier sank against the wall, coughing. Lyra knelt beside him, pressing water to his lips. He drank gratefully, his hand brushing hers for a brief moment. Sira shook her head, though her eyes softened slightly. He saved her. Even I cannot deny it, Lyra whispered, more to herself than to the others. He is not what the legends told us. He is something else. The soldier closed his eyes, resting. For the first time since his crash, the alien girls felt a strange shift inside their hearts. The fear was still there, but now it was tangled with something new. Hope. And hope, in a land that had long forgotten it, was more dangerous than any flame. The village of Velara was restless after the fire. Word spread quickly the strange male had saved a child. Some women whispered that he was different, that he carried courage in his heart. Others hissed that it was only a trick, that he wanted their trust before revealing his true danger. Inside the old hut, the soldier sat quietly, his wounds bandaged with alien herbs. His chest still rose with heavy breaths, but his strength was slowly returning. He watched the alien girls with sharp eyes, listening to their voices even if he could not understand. Lyra remained beside him, her determination stronger than ever. She had seen his bravery with her own eyes. She could still hear the child's cry, see the soldier rushing through fire without hesitation. No monster would do such a thing, but Sira was less convinced. She stood near the door, arms crossed, her voice heavy with doubt. He saved one child, yes. But what of tomorrow? What if he grows stronger and turns against us? What if this was only the beginning of his plan? Lyra shook her head. I do not believe that. He asked for nothing but water. He longs for his home. Can you not see the sorrow in his eyes? The soldier raised his gaze at her words. He could not understand, but he sensed her tone. Slowly, he pulled a small object from the pocket of his torn uniform. It was bent and scratched from the crash, but still intact. A photograph sealed in plastic. The girls leaned closer. Inside the picture were strange faces. A woman and two children smiling in the sunlight. Their features were like his, similar yet different from the aliens. The soldier touched the photo gently, his lips moving as he whispered a word they could not understand. Lyra's eyes softened. She did not need translation. She understood. Family, the younger girls gasped. He has young ones. Like us, Sira's face darkened. Or he shows us lies to win our pity. The soldier looked at them all, then pressed the photo against his chest and closed his eyes. His meaning was clear enough. He had lost something and he longed to return. The girls fell into uneasy silence. That night, Era, the leader, called a council in the central hall. Torches burned along the walls, shadows dancing on the stone. The elders sat in a circle, their expressions grave. Lyra and Sira stood among them, the human soldier brought forward by guards. Murmurs filled the air as the villagers stared at him. Some pointed with awe, others with fear. A few mothers clutched their children close, as if his presence alone was a threat. Era raised her hand and silence fell. This male has shown acts of courage, yet he remains a danger to our law. Tonight we decide. Do we let him live among us, or do we cast him out to the flames of the forest? Gasps echoed through the hall. The choice was not simple, one elder stood. He saved a child. I saw it myself. Perhaps the legends were wrong. Perhaps males are not only monsters. Another hissed in reply. And if he grows stronger? What happens when his kind return? He may be a signal, a scout to lead others here. The voices rose, clashing like storms. Trust against fear, hope against hatred. Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling but loud. He is not our enemy. He has a family far away. He is lost, not hunting us. If we kill him, we prove ourselves the monsters, not him. Sira, torn between loyalty to Lyra and her own fear, finally spoke. And if he betrays us? Will you carry the blame, Lyra? Will you face the ruin that follows? The soldier stood silently as the voices battled around him. He did not understand the words, but he understood the weight of the room. His hand tightened on the photograph hidden in his sleeve. Suddenly a cry came from the back of the hall. A young rebel woman pushed through the crowd, her face twisted with rage. "Why do we argue? The law is clear. Kill him before he kills us!" Before anyone could stop her, she lunged forward with a sharp blade. Gasps filled the hall. The soldier's eyes widened, but his body was too weak to fight back. Lyra screamed, rushing between them. The blade scraped her arm, drawing blood, but she stood firm, shielding him with her body. "No!" The hall fell silent, every eye frozen on the sight. The rebel was dragged back by guards, shouting curses. Lyra stood shaking, her arm bleeding, but her eyes fierce. "Look at him. He did nothing. Yet we are ready to kill him for fear alone. Is this who we are? Is this the justice of Velara?" The crowd wavered, whispers rising. Some nodded, shame flickering in their faces. Others still glared with distrust. Era's golden eyes studied Lyra, then the soldier. The leader's face was unreadable, but her voice was calm. "The test is not finished, but the choice grows closer. Trust or fear, one will rule this village." The soldier, breathing hard, looked at Lyra. He touched his chest lightly, then raised his hand toward her, a gesture of thanks. Though words failed, the meaning was clear. He trusted her. And in that moment, Lyra realized she trusted him too, even if the whole world stood against them. The night air was heavy in Velara. Torches still burned in the council hall, but the crowd had broken apart. Whispers filled the village. Some women argued that the human soldier had shown honor. Others warned that he was still cursed. The choice of trust or fear lingered in every heart. Inside the old hut, Lyra cleaned the wound on her arm where the rebel's blade had cut her. The soldier sat nearby, his gaze fixed on her with concern. He did not understand her words, but when she hissed in pain, his hand moved gently to steady hers. "You worry for me," she said softly, though she knew he could not understand. "But it was you they tried to kill, not me." His lips curved faintly into something between sorrow and gratitude. He touched his chest, then pointed at her. A single word escaped his mouth, slow and heavy. "Friend." Lyra froze. The word was simple, but its meaning crossed every barrier. A warmth spread through her chest. She smiled despite the fear around them. "Yes, friend." The younger girls sitting nearby gasped in wonder. He spoke. "We understood." Sira frowned, but even she could not deny the shift in the air. The soldier was no longer only a stranger. He was becoming something else, someone who belonged to their lives. The next morning, the test came. Era, the leader, summoned the village to the open square. The human soldier stood in the center, surrounded by wary eyes. Lyra, Sira, and the younger girl stood at his side, unwilling to leave him alone. Era raised her voice so all could hear. "We have lived for centuries without males. Our laws forbid them, yet one has fallen among us, alive. Yesterday he saved a child. Last night blood was nearly spilled because of him. Today we decide his fate." A heavy silence fell. Era turned to the soldier. Though he could not understand her tongue, she spoke as if he might still feel her meaning. "You must show us your truth. Not by words, but by deeds." She motioned toward the forest. From behind the crowd, guards dragged a cage forward. Inside, a wild beast snarled, a creature of claws and fangs that hunted the shadows of Velara. Its eyes glowed red, its growl shook the ground. The villagers gasped in fear. Era's gaze was hard. "If you are to live among us, you must face what we fear. Protect, not destroy. If you cannot, then the old law will claim you." Lyra's heart dropped. "No, he is still weak, he cannot fight like this." But the guards pushed the soldier forward. He stumbled but caught himself, his fists clenched. His body was broken, but his spirit stood tall. He looked at the beast, then at the frightened faces around him. He understood enough. This was a test of his worth. The cage opened. The beast lunged. Gasps tore through the crowd. The soldier barely rolled aside as claws raked the earth where he had stood. He stumbled, catching a broken spear one of the guards had left behind. With it, he braced himself, standing firm. The beast charged again. The soldier thrust the spear forward, catching it in the shoulder. The creature roared, thrashing, but the soldier did not strike to kill. Instead, he used the spear to push it back, holding it at bay. His body shook with effort, but he did not give in. The villagers shouted, some in fear, some in awe. Lyra cried out, "Fight, but do not kill. Show them who you are." The soldier heard her voice, though he did not know the words. He felt their weight. He shifted, twisting the spear just enough to trap the beast against a stone. With a grunt of effort, he forced it down. pinning it without taking its life. The beast growled, then stilled, eyes glaring but body subdued. The soldier dropped to his knees, chest heaving, but he did not finish it. He had won not by blood but by restraint. Silence fell over the square. Slowly the villagers began to murmur. He did not kill it. He spared it. He fought not to destroy but to protect. Lyra rushed forward, helping the soldier stand. His body trembled, his face pale, but his eyes burned with fierce light. He met Era's gaze, saying nothing, only waiting. The leader studied him for a long, silent moment. At last she spoke. "The test is complete. He has shown strength and mercy." "He is no monster," the crowd gasped. Some cheered, others still muttered in fear, but the decision was made. Era turned to the villagers. "From this day he is no longer forbidden. He will live among us as guest. His fate is tied to ours." Relief washed over Lyra. She turned to the soldier, her smile breaking through tears. "You are safe now. With us." The soldier, exhausted but alive, touched his chest again. "Friend," he whispered. Then after a pause, he pointed at her and said a second word, careful, halting but clear. "Family." The alien girls froze, hearts pounding. The meaning was simple but powerful. Lyra's throat tightened. She whispered back, "Family." And so in the village of Velara, where males had been feared for centuries, a single human soldier changed everything, not with weapons but with kindness, courage, and the bond he forged with those who once called him forbidden. The legend of monsters was broken. A new story had begun.